Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. Last weekend, before we enter into Candlelight Communion, we've got the wonderful children's musical coming up all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then Candlelight Communion at 5 o'clock, and again at 7:30 p.m. The auditorium will be packed with both services, so come early. Make sure you park in the Pearl Hotel next door so you'll have an easier time getting out of parking, or be a little wise and work with the other Connect group leaders in your area and get some busing together. Work with Brother Jerry in the busing and make your life easier. Let me teach you today for just a minute about worship. Just a little thought today about worship. Have you ever noticed the two great songwriters that the Bible speaks about? One is King David and one is Solomon. In fact, really you see that Solomon wrote more music than even King David wrote. But we don't sing what Solomon wrote. We tend to sing what David wrote. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why? Have you ever noticed what David wrote songs about? In our text today in Psalms 144, beginning with verse 9, David said, "I will sing a new song to you, O God. On the 10-string lyre, I will make music to you." Now, Solomon was a guy who really loved women, and he wrote a lot of love songs, I would imagine. That's what filled his heart. He had so many wives. God, he must have lived a confused life. But David didn't live a confused life. He was the great worshiper. In fact, during the millennial reign for 1,000 years, David will be the one that will lead worship. The great worship leader during the millennium in the Temple of Jerusalem will be King David. That's going to be pretty cool. But David, when he wrote music, he wrote songs to God. I will make music to you. Now, I'm a real funny person. I don't listen to secular music, and people always get stumbled when I say that, but I don't. I did all of that before I got saved. Paul says it this way: when we gather together, we speak to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. Not only shouldn't secular music be in God's house, secular music should not be in God's house, the temple of God. That's us. Our body is the temple of God. God lives in us. Now, forgive me, why are we singing Miley Cyrus and sticking our tongues out? Forgive me, why are we singing, the Beatles with the Yellow Submarine or whatever? Why are we singing that stuff? My body is the temple of God. God lives in me. So when I sing, I should be singing to God. I should make music to God. Now let me read you what David said again. I will sing a new song to you, O God. On the 10-string lyre, I will make music to you. David wasn't interested in being famous. David wasn't interested in doing anything except writing music that would be for him. He just wanted, forgive me, he wanted to sit around with his guitar and write songs to God. Just audience of one, God. If you wonder why David was such a great worship leader, it's because David was a great worshiper. He thought he could think of nothing better to do in life than to sit around with his 10-string lyre. We would call it a guitar today. That would be our equivalent. And he would just sit there and write new songs to God. When you sit around and write songs, are you writing songs to make money? Are you writing songs to entertain people? Are you writing songs to be known? Or are you writing songs to Him? It's fascinating. We're still singing David's songs today. Thousands of years later, we're still singing David's songs. Nobody remembers those songs of Solomon. I think it will be the same. The songs that are truly remembered, we're still singing today. Oh, for 1,000 tongues to sing, Amazing Grace. Songs hundreds of years old, but they were written to Him. And the popular songs of the culture that were written in the same time, nobody remembers them anymore. You want to write songs? Write them to Him.